If you want to be a psychiatrist, I think you have to be a member of APA. APA is American Psychiatry.
There's a lot of sessions, a lot of learning opportunities, a lot of interesting new developments and innovations. Just see what's going on, what's new in the field.
We are not practicing as individuals, but as a group, trying to bring joy, into people's lives.
First time in New Orleans, I hope to see the culture, the food, the French heritage.
I'm really looking forward to connecting with friends I haven't seen in a while.
Welcome to APA TV.
Welcome to APA TV.
Welcome to APA TV.
Welcome to New Orleans. This is APA TV.
As the world's leading psychiatric organization, the APA works to ensure better mental health for all. Now, mental health workers from all over the world are coming together to help improve access to care, provide better psychiatric training, drive scientific research, and so much more. We're in New Orleans for the American Psychiatric Association annual meeting, and you're watching APA TV. Welcome to APA TV here in the birthplace of jazz. It's one of America's most vibrant cities, and this week that vibrance extends to the Ernest N. Memorial Convention Center. We're here to capture all the most exciting developments in the broad field of psychiatry, from technology addiction to disaster therapy, psychedelics to social determinants, with new shows each day of the meeting. Today on APA TV, we'll be discussing milestones in psychiatry with Saul Levin, look at ways artificial intelligence is impacting psychiatry, and discuss the impacts of our fractious times on youth mental health. APA TV also brings you features from around the world on the very latest in mental health care, research, technology, and more. Today we visit some of the hospitals and treatment centers providing exemplary care for patients. You can watch APA TV here at the Convention Center, in your room at select hotels, and find us via the APA website, the APA app, or on YouTube and Twitter. You'll find extended versions of our content, and watch out for our podcast as we go in depth on some of the meeting's key issues. Now, to get us started, let's have APA Scientific Program Committee Vice Chair Eric Williams welcome us to Sunday at the APA. Over to you, Eric.
Hello, I'm Dr. Eric Williams, Vice Chair of this meeting's Scientific Program Committee. Welcome to Day 2 of APA's annual meeting. Today, you can take advantage of scientific sessions that cover everything from collaborative care to emerging treatments for anxiety disorders to how to use your voice as an advocate. Representatives from the National Institute on Drug Abuse will give an update on research and treatment for methamphetamine use disorder. We'll also hear from SAMHSA on treatment for those with co-occurring substance use disorder and mental illness. The APA 2020-2021 Task Force on Psychiatric Beds will discuss its new report. Among all these sessions, make sure you take a break in the exhibit hall. Don't miss our midday mingles for complimentary snacks. Have a great day.
Thanks, Eric. Lots to look forward to today, especially those exhibit hall snacks. I can't wait. Now, before we meet APA CEO and Medical Director Saul Levin, it's time for our first feature from the world of psychiatry. Let's stay local and head to LSU Health Shreveport, bringing better mental health to Louisiana.
We're growing new doctors, basically, is what we're doing here. If we're going to create docs, we want to create good docs. To create good docs, we need to be good teachers. And I think we're very good at that here.
The residency training programs at LSU Health in Shreveport stand out because we really prepare our graduates for everything they will face in a career as a psychiatrist or as a child and adolescent psychiatrist. Our graduates have gone on to be chairs of departments, program directors, heads of hospital psychiatry staff, contributed to research. It's a great program to prepare residents for the careers they will face in psychiatry.
We have such a diverse group of residents treating a diverse patient population. And our program is committed to train compassionate clinicians who are eager about becoming a leader in the field.
In its long history, the APA has been through some major milestones and significant changes in the way we think about and treat mental health. To discuss one of the biggest of these, I'm joined by APA CEO and Medical Director Saul Levin. Saul, thank you ever so much indeed for joining us today.
Thank you for that, and it's good to be back, and we are back.
Well, this is the 50th anniversary of the famous speech by John Fryer. Yeah. What do you think every psychiatrist should know about John Fryer?
John Fryer and a group of psychiatrists, gay psychiatrists, finally got together and they said, could someone stand up at an annual meeting knowing they could lose their job, they could still go to jail, for coming out openly? And John Fryer stepped up. Who was actually a mild-mannered man. He was gregarious, but not one to want to be totally upfront. And he said, no one's doing it, I will do it. He asked, and the scientists finally agreed, that show us the data that homosexuality was a mental illness. And if that's the case, we'll keep quiet. It was one of the most erudite speeches and from the heart speeches that I've ever heard. And within a year and a half, APA had taken it out, which I can tell you for any large organization is remarkable. For that, I'm personally deeply grateful for him. I am a gay man, and it's remarkable 50 years later that, because of his legacy of what he did, that here I'm the first gay openly CEO and medical director of APA.
What advice would you give to somebody just starting off, coming to this conference?
Well, the first thing I'd say is you're coming to the conference, so come to the conference. In evenings, go out, have a good time, have a few drinks, enjoy yourself. But remember, you hear from, in some ways, the experts in the field that many are not going to have a chance unless they come to a conference like that. But then on the flip side of it is, you're young, you want to see the city, you want to party, you want to see what's great, do that. And just make sure that when you leave here, you don't say, oh boy, later, I missed that talk that I really should have gone to because I'm seeing it in my practice or what I'm learning about. But they also need to go to say, boy, New Orleans was a great city. It was fun to be at, and I can't wait to come back here again. So NOLA wins, and so does APA.
Thanks ever so much. Really a pleasure.
Pleasure. Thank you. Good to see you again.
You too.
To next year and year and year and year after. Okay.
To a group providing collaborative, innovative behavioural healthcare, let's visit Sheppard Pratt.
Sheppard Pratt was founded in 1853, and essentially it was founded with the idea to meet needs that otherwise would not be met, to provide a humane system of care, to get to the best possible outcomes that people can get to.
We are transforming and are discovering new ways to treat mental illness that we haven't been able to treat. We are really at the foremost of the development of those new treatments.
We know that we have a mental health crisis right now, and our goal here at Sheppard is to be able to train the next generation and be able to work with trainees no matter where they're at in their training.
The future for Sheppard is one where I see us replicating and magnifying the impact that we have across our programs, and most importantly, we do that in a way that delivers the best of what psychiatry can offer in ways that are most accessible, as well as bring about the best outcomes for those that need our help.
Coming up, we'll take a look at an exciting session on artificial intelligence and the future of psychiatry. But first, to the Center for Psychosocial Medicine at Heidelberg University Hospital, where researchers are working to identify the patterns that might lead to more individualized care in patients.
The Center of Psychosocial Medicine was founded in 2005. Our mission is to bring innovative biological therapies, including neurostimulation and neurofeedback, and broad expertise in psychotherapy.
What is unique is that we have a stepped care system. We have not only a focus on families, but also on transition from childhood to adulthood. For all the age groups, we have the right way of treatment.
We are on the way to identify patterns of behavior, of traits, of biomarkers, which can predict the response to treatment and also involve digital interventions which can be offered in real time and in natural settings.
Now let's hear how artificial intelligence might enable or hinder that vision of the future of psychiatry.
We are living in the era of artificial intelligence. AI is in our cars, AI is in our smartphones, and to mention, our smartphone probably knows more about us than our family members or a doctor ever will. AI can be used to come up with interesting sort of drug targets and drug combinations. If we can use AI to some of the large data sets such as electronic health records, we may be able to come up with algorithms for predicting, who is likely to harm themselves or whose medication is not likely to work. We have an acute shortage of therapists, right? So could we develop fully AI-embedded chatbots or robots that can serve as virtual therapists? AI is here to stay, and we as a field have to educate ourselves and make sure that we're at the table setting the right guidelines so that we're not sort of the menu. I really urge everyone to come for this session, Artificial Intelligence and the Future of Psychiatry. We're going to have two others on the panel. One is Dr. Robert M. Califf, who is the new Commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration, who's going to give almost a 20-minute presentation on the FDA's views on mental health and technology. The second is Dr. Samantha Boardman, who is the author of a best-selling book that focuses on resilience and empathy. And as you know, one of the big sort of issues with AI is, can we develop AI with empathy? And she's going to be addressing that issue. I think it's the coolest session at the APA dealing with the hottest new trend, which is artificial intelligence and technology. You have to come for this session.
Lots of opportunities and challenges there with AI. Now, let's go to Penn State Health, Milton S. Hershey Medical Center, where they're designing cutting-edge interventions in psychiatric care.
The Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Health has missions to improve the lives of people who are living with mental illness. Do this through providing outstanding, innovative clinical care, educating those who are going to be the clinicians of the future in how to provide that outstanding care, and use discovery science to learn more about how to provide the best care possible for people who have mental illness. So we are doing this in service of the community, both our local community, the community of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and beyond.
We value the traditional one-on-one treatments, but we also emphasize the bigger picture, the greater role of how a psychiatrist can be an expert mental health consultant to the healthcare team in general.
Our faculty and staff are really dedicated to doing good things for the community, working together very collaboratively. That's what makes it fun to come to work, is to work with other people, to do good things, and feel like you're making a difference. We are always looking to improve how we can help people.
Over to VA Boston, not only one of the largest and highest ranked VA programs, but also the one with the largest research portfolio in the country.
We're an integrated continuum of care. Unlike any other hospital system in the country, we work off a single healthcare platform, a single medical record, and have integrated services so that we can really cover the mental health needs of our patients. There's no aspect of mental health care that we haven't figured out how to deliver for our veterans. It really exemplifies the best of what mental health care could be and should be.
Because I'm a veteran, and I just believe that they can accomplish anything they set their minds to. I want them to feel listened to. And so I listen not just with my ears, but I listen with my heart, I listen with my eyes.
One of the things that I most notice about the people who work here is that they're wonderful
decent people.
It's always surprising how mission-driven everyone is here, and the real sense of purpose that people have here, and what a unique opportunity it is to serve veterans.
The future looks bright for us. Make sure that no veteran misses out on the care that they've earned and deserve.
Now let's head to a session that looks at the challenging world we live in today, from COVID-19 to climate change, from the perspective of youth mental health. How can we manage the toxic stress that can reach young people in these difficult times?
Hurricanes, floods, droughts, wildfires. We also have mass violence and socio-political and racial unrest, and these are all major contributors to the well-being of children and families.
Like when you think about, let's say, a hurricane and all of the disaster that can come from it, a child who is like 5 or 6 might not necessarily understand, that, okay, this is just a natural occurrence. It just depends upon the age and the developmental level as to how folks understand disasters.
Sometimes children will play in a way that reenacts different kinds of violence. It's important for parents to understand that this is how they express themselves and this is how they process.
As psychiatrists, we are the experts in the mental health spectrum, so we can give great information as it relates to education. We could also allay some fears that some of our youth and some of the adults have. So I think that we as psychiatrists are made for now.
In the first few days or weeks of an event, it's very normal to feel very distressed. So we have a role in helping them understand what are the best things for them right now, getting fresh air, exercise and movement if they can, and really staying connected, because we've seen over time that social connectedness is really essential in helping communities recover.
Know your resources that are available. For instance, there's a Center for Traumatic Stress that gives a lot of education upon how to deal with these disasters. We can give that information to families who can then give it to kids.
One of our roles as psychiatrists is really to advocate for the right kinds of attention, funding, and engagement in prevention activities and prevention and planning.
Really challenging issues there for psychiatrists, but lots of useful suggestions from that session. Make sure to check that out on demand. Now, for more on helping young people and families with mental health issues, let's go to Newport Healthcare.
Newport Healthcare is a series of adolescent and young adult treatment centers where we're able to kind of embrace the client wherever they're at and use the depth of services that we offer to try to really provide a well-rounded therapeutic experience.
Newport Healthcare encompasses all of the latest evidence-based treatments from equine therapy, art therapy, MMA, attachment-based family therapy, EMDR. We are here to support families and clients in nourishing their wholeness toward better mental health.
Newport really provides this wraparound care for both the adolescent or young adult and for their family. That's what makes Newport so unique, right? Is that we're looking at the whole system, the whole individual, so that we're able to see things that maybe other environments are not able to see. That we're able to take a look at the whole person and their whole being so that they have everything they need to be more successful in the future.
Now for our last feature today, let's visit the Transformations Care Network, helping professionals collaborate to bring the most evidence-based treatments to those who need it most.
So the trends that matter in mental health right now are labor shortages, digital tools, and new forms of competition. I think our consumers are being flooded with options, but they don't really know what's good. Our staff are being flooded with options. They don't really know what's meaningful for their career. And so mental health has all of a sudden got this extraordinary attention. But honestly, I think a lot of the trends right now are pretty distracting. There's a lot of new shiny toys out there, right? I mean, everything's kind of online and easy, but I don't know that it's actually better care, right? And so it's causing us to completely double down on this idea of being community first. We don't reject technology. Technology is gonna be critical, but it's from the communities we serve. And Transformations is here to help make that happen.
that's it from our first show here in New Orleans. Come back tomorrow as we explore Monday at the APA meeting, including an in-depth discussion on psychedelics, both for APA TV and in our brand new podcast. Remember, you can watch APA TV here at the Convention Center, in your room at select hotels, and find us via the APA website, the APA app, or on YouTube and Twitter. There's much more to find online, from extended versions to podcasts. Make sure to check that out tonight, and we'll see you back bright and early tomorrow.